I've actually got some really good facts on Carlisle Bay Golf Club. Has anyone played there recently?
Well, maybe. Let's find out.
Wow.
Welcome to the No Ifs, Putts or Bogies podcast. We are a no-nonsense, straight-talking golf podcast discussing all the hot topics in the world of golf. This podcast is also brought to you in association with Barretto Golf, a stylish, affordable golf clothing brand. Please visit barrettogolf.com. That's BARRETO golf.com for all the latest offers. And this podcast is also brought to you on behalf of the Golf Gang Network. Please go and check out some of the other golfing podcasts. And without further ado, I bring you the international businessman, traveling entrepreneur, Mr. O-Dub, Ollie Wilton.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Hello, mate. Welcome back.
Yeah, we should address why there wasn't a podcast last week.
Well, welcome back to everyone. Yeah, apologies to the listeners. I was traveling with work in the United States of America, the home of golf, if you don't count Scotland. Not playing golf, but grafting for my daytime employment, my contracted employment, working all hours. And you guys, the calendars didn't really align to get one out, did it?
That is correct, buddy. That is correct. But we are glad to have you back, and we are here back to deliver one of the greatest podcasts of all time ever, and maybe the greatest episode we've ever done.
So why is it so good? I guess, I mean, we are listened to in 16 countries, DB, or is it?
It's actually reached 17.
What?
I actually don't know which one is the new one, but I'm going to read them out.
It won't be Indonesia because we know that one.
Okay, so we are going to start with United Kingdom, United States, Germany, Canada, New Zealand, Spain, Vietnam, Australia, Austria, Croatia, Indonesia, Ireland, Italy, Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, Singapore. 17 countries.
What's the
I think it's Denmark.
Yeah.
I think Denmark's the new country. Personally.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Jack Newton if it's you, fellow golfer. Respect it highly.
Could it be Rasmus Højgaard who won the Irish Open, which we'll come on to later? Maybe he had a little listen after he smashed.
I thought he played up front for United, O-Dub.
Well, maybe, yeah, you are right. Or his twin brother, other Højgaard, but I don't know. Right, yeah, thank you, DB. That's great to hear, and it's great to hear that the pod is growing without us nurturing it on a Monday evening. Listeners showing you behind the curtain there. Yeah, so thank you for that, DB. Thank you for that update. As I sort of mentioned in the intro, a beautiful course in Cornwall, Carlisle Bay, which turns out I was researching and you had also played. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I managed to get on there on Saturday morning. So for those of you who are long-time listeners of the podcast, you will know that we are all originally from Cornwall. And I ventured back to the motherland for a spontaneous curry with the lads and thought nothing more of getting the golf clubs in the car and trying to get around in with someone. Very good mate of mine, his younger brother is a member at Carlisle Bay and was able to get us on for the very reasonable price of a guest of a member of £25, which was, to be honest, absolutely exceptional value because the course was in ridiculous conditions. We managed to tee off at 7:56 and we were the tee time before the first tee of the Saturday morning competition. But they actually were allowing tee times to go out from about 6 a.m. And a lot of the hotel guests play before and after the competitions because there's a hotel affiliated with the golf club. I have to say, if anyone follows the main Instagram account, which is at Barretto Golf, feel free to follow, like, share, tell all your mates about it. It was a very picturesque morning. There was a little bit of dew early doors when I got there, but the sun was rising over the beautiful Cornish Sea, and the course is overlooking multiple bays around the St Austell area. I think with a view to Polkerris. Obviously, it's got Carlion Bay. It's around the corner from Portreath. And I have to say, it was one of the most pleasant golfing experiences I've ever had. It was fucking delightful. So it was. I did also play quite well. I managed to shoot level handicap, probably which was 16 on this occasion. So I shot 88 on a par 72. There was some true DB golf in there. So on one hole, it's straight up a hill. It must have been around about the 13th, somewhere along those lines. Couldn't remember specifically which hole. So if you played Carlion Bay before, apologies. But it's straight up the hill. I shanked the driver and it stopped about 2 inches from going in the right-hand side hedge. I couldn't get a full shot away. So I literally was able to like duff it forward a few yards. I then knocked it up a little bit further, still missed, still short of the green. So I've now had 3 shots. I thinned my chip through the green, through the sort of side of the green. I was coming at it from right to left. And the green is sort of double layered, what do you call it? It's got some undulation in it. And I was in the fringe on the back of the green. And so that was 4 shots. And then I managed to putt the ball in the hole from off the green, hit the undulation perfectly. So it's probably about a 35-foot putt for my 5. Walked away with a bogey, so I was pretty happy with that. Then there was another hole where I was playing back away from the sea. I shanked it 2 fairways right, but managed to put a 6-iron to a 4-foot. It hit the wind. It went at a tree, hit the wind, which caressed it beautifully back onto the middle of the green. Probably should have got a birdie there, but I actually 3-putted and got 5. But the key to the story is the 6-iron was probably one of the best golf shots I hit all day. I hit the driver, bombed quite a few drivers, was playing really well. So overall, was pretty happy with that. I actually found quite a few bunkers, and my bunker play was nothing short of exceptional. Was out first time every time, followed up by a few 1-putts. It was just really good. I was getting the ball to check, which never really happens, and don't know how I did it. Not sure if I'll be able to do it again, but I came away feeling really, really happy, and really enjoyed my morning. So thanks to Gareth and Lewis Williams, the brothers, that were able to get me on. Really enjoyed my morning out and look forward to hopefully playing again in the future.
Shout out if you want to sponsor the pod. So on the guests, Carlion Bay has 86 rooms in its hotel, if you're interested. On its website, it says it's a championship course. Now, what makes it be able to say that? Because you can't just say that willy-nilly, right?
That is probably true. I actually don't know what the answer is, but I would have thought it is along the lines of it's able to host PGA affiliated competitions. Right?
Oh, for real? Has anything ever gone on that big down there?
As in, like, for like,
yeah, it's not PGA Tour,
not the PGA Tour, but like the professional golfers
that
are not necessarily at that peak level.
So they could have like a bin juice professional golf tournament.
Well, not bin juice. They'll still be extremely good golfers, but
I'm sure
to a non-golfing fan, yeah, I suppose like National League North type thing.
Love it. Great football reference. Did you know, AB, that over 100 years ago, Edward VIII is known to play at Carlion Bay, the then Prince of Wales?
I did not know that.
Know that, mate.
Yeah.
What was Edward VIII famous for?
Don't know, mate. Couldn't tell you. I did have to Google the Roman numerals and look at a tally to work out.
Is that the bloke that
XIII
is that George's brother?
VII.
Yeah.
I don't know, mate. They're all called George.
Yeah,
he shagged some abdicated the throne.
Monarch to abdicate the throne, yes.
Oh, didn't he go to America?
No, he went to France, but he married an American and she was divorced.
There we are.
So
See, I'm with you there. Bonjour.
Yeah,
It's
So
on
you watched The Crown, O-Dub?
Yeah, I was going to say it's on The Crown, isn't it? Great Netflix show. Feel free to sponsor the pod. Thank you for that, DB. That's really interesting. AB, I hear you played on the weekend, but you had
Just quickly,
Oh, sorry.
before
Sorry,
we
DB.
move away from Carlisle Bay, a fun AB and DB fact about Carlisle Bay. Our cousin actually got married in the hotel, and after or during, I suppose, the wedding reception, after lunch, there's actually a pitch and putt course in the grounds of the hotel, and that was where the very first AB versus DB match occurred. And I think actually AB won on the 18th hole. Was it 18th or 9th?
It was quite close, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even say it was pitch and putt either, really. It was
very short, wasn't it?
It was like chip and putt, basically.
Yeah.
They were only like 30, 40 yards, just chip it. But there was
a couple of clubs in the inside the back door of the conservatory and two golf balls. And in the ages of our middle 20s, we snuck out like fucking naughty school kids and played whilst everyone else was eating their dessert.
What absolute legends. Wish I knew you guys back then. Well,
yeah, it was
here's DB for that story and ruining my great link. But AB putting on the weekend.
Yeah, mate. I had weirdly tee to green. I had like my best round at Brampton. So
that bar's pretty low still, though, isn't it? So do you want to give us some real golfing context?
No, I don't know. I think I'm pretty handy tee to green. Most of my woes are usually on the green, but I went really well with the driver for a change, which it was probably my best round with my new driver. Hit 10 out of 14 fairways. I also was on the green in regulation on probably the most holes in a round at Brampton. I think I was on there 5 or 6 holes out of the 18 in reg. So I had, birdie putts on those holes. And I mean, the first hole, I literally bombed it 250 odd right in the middle of the fairway on the green in 2. And then I was looking at the back of the green. So I had a longish putt, but it just, I misread it. And I also just didn't set up properly, I don't think. And I just put it absolutely nowhere near the hole. So it was just a complete waste of a shot. And then I left myself like, it was probably between 10 and 15 foot for a par instead of being like a tap in. So I'd had 3 putts on the first hole. Second hole, bombed a 3-wood down the hill, 210 or so, 215. Wedge onto the green. Again, I was on the green in 2. And then I fucking 3-putted again. And my par putt was from like 4 foot. And I rolled it past. So I was on 10 after 2, and 6 of them were putts. I didn't lose a ball from 1 to 18. So again, that's showing a lot of progression there, because sometimes since I've changed driver, my driving's been quite wayward, and I've lost a few out of bounds or in the water or whatever. So yeah, I went 1 to 18 with the same ball. I ended up with 94, but annoyingly, if I'd have putted better, and I did have one shocker, which killed my round, where I had an 8, but the rest of it was my only blob of the whole 18 holes. So I scored points on every other hole, and that was the one that really killed me. But generally, it was my putts, because I had probably about 10, 11 holes where I was on the green in reg, or I had par putts, and I hit 3 of them. I ended up with 3 genuine pars, but most of them were like bogeys. And yeah, annoyingly, what should have been my first round in the 80s up there ended up being a 94. But on my current handicap, it was 2 under, 3 under. So take it, got a marginal cut.
The snip's coming for AB.
Yeah, I was but I was very happy. And I've been banging this drum for a few weeks now, but performance over scorecard, and I was buzzing, but at the same time, this was the first time where I was buzzing with how I played, but also disappointed not to have shot slightly better, because I did let myself down with my putter. So yeah, that was a summary of my weekend, mate.
On obviously you can excuse me, sorry. Obviously you can get golfing lessons for like giving a good old whack, driving and wedge game and iron play. Can you pay a professional to teach you how to putt, or is it something?
Yeah,
I'll answer this one.
Oh, sorry,
answer
AB.
is
I know
yes.
you wanted to answer, but
I've had a couple.
okay.
Over a spaced out over a long period of time. So when I first started playing golf, I really struggled with putting, and actually, to be honest, to this day, it's probably still the worst part of my game. But actually, fun fact: the initial struggles weren't necessarily my fault straight away. So I actually got fitted for a putter because I inherited my original set of golf clubs from my grandfather. And it turns out that his putter had a slightly longer than usual handle, probably because he was in his 80s and couldn't stand over it correctly anymore because he was old. And when I showed the pro the putter, he literally looked at it and he was just like, before I even hit a ball, he went, "That's way too fucking long for you." And I was like, huh? So I wasn't even standing over the ball correctly to start with, because I was trying to line up a putter that wasn't correct. So I believe my putter handle now is 33.5 inches, I think. Can't quite remember what it was in the first place, but it was a good 3 or 4 inches taller. Before anyone says, obviously you can get longer handle putters and chest putters and all sorts, but for what I was trying to do, I wasn't doing it very fucking well. So got a new putter, and then I had some lessons, and yes, you can improve your putting massively. So I had one quite recently, earlier this summer, probably around May time. And it was all about the balance of my shoulders. So it was trying to get my front and back shoulder moving in tandem, because before my right shoulder, which is my back shoulder, was rotating further around, and then I was not hitting the ball on a stride. My body was becoming open. I was pushing a lot of things. Whereas I've got an alignment stick that I would put under my armpits, and if the stick when I was putting was going up and down rather than side to side, that meant I was doing it in a more correct manner, because if I was going side to side, that means my shoulders were getting rounded. Whereas if it's going up and down, it means I'm rocking back to front, like I'm shaking, like I'm rocking a baby, which is kind of where you want to be more. O-Dub, you're probably quite good at that.
Well, yeah, me and AB, speaking as fathers. Well, thanks for that, DB. Thanks for answering my question. I know you're itching to answer, AB, but as per usual, DB.
No, in fairness, my answer to your question was going to be yes, you can get putting lessons.
Okay, thank you.
So DB's done well he's actually had experience of doing it. There's nothing wrong with getting lessons. I just like to try and figure things out myself. And I have a little putting mat in my room, in my office, that I haven't used for a couple of weeks, which is probably why I was a bit shit on the weekend. But I need to get that back out and do a bit of practice and just work on my rhythm and that. But yeah, we're working things out for me. Like my driver, like I said, was like mint on Saturday, and I was like really happy with it. And it was just tweaking a few things in my setup, because for me, everything comes down to my setup. So yeah, I worked on a few things, and I do it real time on the course as well. So the first drive of the day, I just gave myself a bit more width to swing, and I had a slightly different foot stance, and it went straight down the middle. So I just kept doing that on all the other holes, and I only, like I said, I hit 10 out of 14 fairways. I only messed up one drive really but it stayed in play. I just didn't connect with it, and it just went low and not very far. But the rest were all like absolutely lovely. So I was really happy with myself.
Cool. Yeah, I guess on the putting lessons, I mean, generally, like you say, people can work a lot of stuff out for themselves and work out technique and stuff, even just on little putting mats. So it's just, that's probably why I was asking, because it just doesn't seem as a common thing to happen. Yeah, so from grassroots to the female professional game and the Solheim Cup, which to you listeners out there is the female version of the Ryder Cup. That was on and finished this weekend. What were your initial thoughts, AB?
On the Solheim Cup.
On the Solheim Cup.
Yeah. Sorry, I dozed off there for a minute.
That's actually really
sorry, mate.
good.
That was really rude of me, mate. Sorry. Yeah, Solheim Cup. Yeah, so, well, unfortunately for Europe, we lost for the first time since 2017. So I think they'd won 3 in a row. So USA, despite all their quality and firepower, were on a bit of a barren run, mate. So they were fired up. They had a new sort of regime in charge. A lot of the captains and vice captains had been successful in this particular tournament. So they knew how to win. And obviously they've got a lot of the top ranked players in, world number 1, Nelly Korda, Lexi Thompson. There's plenty of like quality on the USA side. Europe were also full of quality, but very much the underdog. And the first few days, so Friday and Saturday, there wasn't actually any game that finished all square. So there was a full point won in every single match. And unfortunately for Europe, we just left it a little bit too much of a mountain to climb in the singles on Sunday. So I think the first couple of days, USA were never behind. I think they won most of the point. They were, on going into the singles, it was 10-6 to the USA, which for golf noses amongst us know that that's what the score was in 2012, the Miracle of Medina. So, Europe had the task of trying to make a similar comeback, which they actually did in the previous Solheim Cup. So it was, it's not unheard of. The girls have done it as well as the fellas in the Ryder Cup. And for a period yesterday, it looked like it was going to happen again because Europe came out of the blocks. Charlie Hull, Northamptonshire's very own Charlie Hull, had a fantastic weekend. I think she won 3 out of 3 points. I don't think she got beat. She got rested, weirdly, I think, for a couple of the rounds. But she won 3 out of 3, and she absolutely hammered Nelly Korda, world number 1, in the first match to win a point for Europe. And then from then on, Europe were looking pretty solid. And at one point, I think it was like 13.5 to 11.5. And the other 3 games, Europe were winning 1 and the other 2 were all square. And if Europe had won all 3, they would have won. And, the USA came back in the last few holes, like real, like clutch golf. The quality was absolutely phenomenal, to be fair. The game is like, the ladies' golf is you've got to hand it to them. They are absolutely amazing at what they do. And, may not hit it as far as the men's game, but their skills and their actual abilities, like, it's very, very close, to be fair. And I couldn't believe what I was watching. The drama was like epic. And sadly, Europe came up short in the end. But it was another memorable Solheim Cup. The only sort of negative I'd say is, I don't know, it might be a bit controversial, but the crowd was a bit annoying throughout. It was kind of like the Ryder Cup and the PGA Tour in general is becoming rowdier, but it's like a lot of knobheads.
Yeah.
And, people that shout mashed potato or something stupid when
Hot
there's
tour.
yeah, fucking idiots. They're just like shouting every time a ball's like hit, and it seems to have like filtered into the women's.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
the Solheim Cup at least there was a lot of people shouting stupid things, and yeah, I don't know. There was one clip which DB shared the other like from socials where the caddies, someone holed out from the fairway for an eagle, and the caddies like took their shirts off and were like running up the fairway, and I was literally like, this is just fucking stupid. This is like it's really disrespectful. I thought it was really disrespectful to like Europe and.
So the women's players' caddies were taking.
No, yeah, so they're blokes. We weren't
Yeah.
like two birds running around with their tits out, but it was two fellas because you play the first couple of days. You play in pairs, so there was two USA players against two Europe players,
Yeah.
and therefore there was four caddies, and the two American caddies celebrated this eagle. That in the grand scheme of things, I don't even know if it meant that much to the match or anything. It was just they won that hole because she holed out, and they took their shirts off and were like swinging it around their head, and I just thought it was fucking stupid.
Yeah, that does seem a bit nuts.
But maybe that makes me sound like an old man. I don't know.
Well, I mean, golf, it's a game of gentlemen and ladies. It doesn't seem very appropriate. Yeah. I mean, you can, the Ryder Cup's got a great atmosphere and stuff like that, but that just seemed a bit, I don't know.
The Ryder Cup has always had a bit of needle.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know. I just feel like because it's a weird one, because that's around longer and there's more history and it's, deemed a bigger event, more competitive, better quality, however you want to dress it up. There's like an element of, oh, well, to make the Solheim Cup bigger, we have to like do the same.
Yeah.
So obviously that clip when plenty of people were tuned in live, and that clip has obviously gone viral. But it's like, well, was it necessary? Did you need to like do that? Do people need to shout out and be like really rowdy just because that's what the Ryder Cup's like? I don't know. For me, it wasn't for me. I thought it was like, well, they do this at the Ryder Cup, so we'll do it at the Solheim Cup sort of thing. It's like, well, it's separate events. Treat the people with respect and just, it's a separate event. You don't need to copy what happens in the men's game for me. Yeah. But I enjoyed what I watched in terms of the quality of golf. And I guess USA with you. So I have to wait a couple of years now and Europe try and claim it back.
I did watch a little bit Saturday evening. I was with, as obligatory mention, with Wommass, having a few beers in Cheltenham Town. I was trying to watch, but he was chewing my ear off about some little blonde piece in the corner. But classic Wommass. But I did catch a bit of it. On the talking about women's v men's standards, what sort of, I don't know if it's a percentage you could give me, AB, off the top of your head, but what sort of distance are they lacking in terms of professional drives?
I've got some stats on this.
Okay.
I've seen this on Instagram previously. I don't know if you've seen it, AB, but women hit the fairway somewhere in the 70% of the time.
Yeah.
Which
it's higher than the men's game.
Higher than the men's accuracy in terms of hitting the fairways. And in terms of yardages, the average male is around on the PGA Tour is somewhere around 300 odd yards. And the women's was somewhere like 255 to 275, somewhere around there. So I think the men's was about 50 yards different.
Okay.
But in general, the women were specifically more accurate. And on that note, Odom, I got a couple of things that I wanted to pick up about the Solheim Cup. The quality was absolutely outstanding, as AB touched on. So there were two eagle holeouts from the fairway, one from Europe, Anna Nordqvist, and Alison Lee, which is the one that AB was referring to where the caddies went nuts. And I thought the general golf was absolutely outstanding. So Charlie Hull in the singles beat Nelly Korda 6-4, which I think will go down in Solheim Cup history and general golf history. It was an absolutely outstanding performance, and really incredible golf to watch. Nelly Corder's won is like been like the female Scottish Scheffler this year. She's won like 7 or 8 events, like absolutely cleaned up, been the best in the world, number one by quite a way. And to come out and beat her in that fashion, I thought was absolutely incredible. One thing I wanted to pick up on is obviously we're talking about the quality and how impressive the women's golf is. And I would concur that that goes across all levels of women's golf. So the pro at North Middlesex is actually a female, and she's an incredibly talented golfer, very good pro. And I did pick up that quite a lot of the caddies were male, if not all of them were male. And I was wondering why that might be, really, because there's probably so many women out there that are ex-golfers or golfers of varying levels that could probably be exceptional caddies. You don't actually see it that often, really, do you? The only one that I can think of off the top of my head that has a female caddy, and she's not even really a golfer to my knowledge, is Lee Westwood as his wife sometimes, doesn't he?
Yeah, so Westwood has his wife recently. There's a few others that have their misses on the bag occasionally. Famously, Nick Faldo's caddy in his prime was actually a woman.
Was it?
I can't think of her name, but when he was the best in the world and winning the Open and the Masters, his caddy was a female. But
this is what I mean.
He's probably the only one. Like, he's probably the most high-profile one, because I don't think we'd have to look it up. I don't think it was his wife. I think it was someone he knew in the game that was very good at being a caddy, and then caddy for him. But that was a good spot, to be fair. I didn't actually notice.
Well, if you think about it, like, there's so many good professional women golfers, and there's so many female teaching pros and other players that are playing at various different levels. You've even got to look on YouTube these days, see the amount of female golfers and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. There must be so many of them that would be good enough even to caddy for the men, like, and caddy at like different professional levels. I don't really know why they don't exist. So if you're a female professional golfer or have any knowledge about the female professional golf and know why no women are interested in caddying, or maybe they are interested in not getting the opportunities, or want to come on and talk about it, let us know. The last observation that I had on the Solheim Cup was on the note of rowdiness. One thing in the difference between the men and the women is I felt like, and this is more on social media, I've seen a lot of videos of the female captains, players, and all like dancing to the music, like during the competition. So I'm assuming they're the captains. They had the earpieces and stuff in, but they must have been on the first tee or something. And they were playing music, and the 3 European women were dancing. Then when like Nelly Corder and stuff was coming out, she come bounding out, dancing, waving her hands. I sort of thought, like, you know, like when like Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood and all come out, you know they mean business. They're not fucking around dancing. They're on the tee. They give the little nod, little tip of the cap, and they're on it, ready to go. But I sort of felt it was very much party zone at the women's, that a lot of the players were coming down with a bit of bop in their step and waving. And like Nelly Corder, like, was a bit like, if anyone watched the Olympics, like Noah Lyles before a race, she come running out and done a little lap of the tee box and chucking her arms everywhere. Yeah. I just wondered if anyone had any thoughts on any of that, or if anyone else noticed or saw it.
I don't know. I feel like I kind of shared my thoughts on it already, like, in terms of it's almost like it's just trying to copy or trying to like one up the Ryder Cup to just like, I don't know why, but a lot of it, some of the stuff just seemed unnecessary. And the quality of golf that I saw, it didn't need that sort of stuff to hype it up or make it like, I don't know what the right words are, because I don't want to obviously get cancelled for any reason. But it's just, it's a completely different thing. Like, just that you don't need to.
I think the golf, like you say, the golf spoke for itself. I think it was is she called Layla Vu? That one that hit the shot on
the one that ended up winning.
Oh my god, that approach shot was fucking
like
ridiculous.
She came from when I tuned in, she was 2 down with 3 to play and she won all 3. to then get the final half. So that was the first one that was like half, basically. And it
But
was
the
the
shot
half
that
point.
she hit into the 18th green
Yeah.
was, I'm not quite sure how far away she was, but she put it to like under 2 foot. And it was absolutely clutch.
But
Such
that was
a good shot.
That's the thing. Like, she was in the middle of the fairway, and so was the other girl for Europe. And the 3 matches before that I watched, they were all on the fairway. It was only Lexi Thompson that put one a little bit wide, but she was still in the first cut. And I'm thinking, it's the 18th hole. You've pushed this match. You've pushed all these matches to the final hole. And, you know, your point or your half is crucial to the outcome of this result. And no one showed any nerves. They all smacked their drivers straight into the middle of the fairway and then wedged onto the green. And it was only, I think it was Maya Stark put one a little bit long with her wedge, and then she had to 2-putt. But even then, she put her first one miles past, and she turned around and put it back in for par. And it was like 10, 15 feet for par. And I just thought it was just unbelievable, like some of the quality.
Do we not think, we mentioned it on the pod before, the dancing and music is livey, a bit livey, is our new phrase.
It is.
So it could be a bit of that. It's also very American sport in general. They all come out singing and shouting, don't they? But
yeah.
AB, do you want to tell me a little bit about ladies' tees at amateur level before I give you some facts on a few of the players in the Solheim Cup?
Well, I mean, the ladies' tees at amateur level, as most people will know, are typically the shortest version of the course. So I don't know if we have colours. I don't know specifically if they're attributed to. I think the ladies' tee is getting phased out, shall we say? Especially in Britain.
It's most definitely still a ladies' tee at my golf club.
Yeah.
Well, your professional is a female, right, DB? Would she just play off the black tees, the longest tees?
I think if she was playing a normal round, she would probably play off the white tees. But I suppose, because she's fucking better than all of us.
Yeah.
So I guess but she, to be quite honest, she is absolutely booked out with lessons all day, every day. I don't actually think she probably plays as many rounds of golf as what she would like.
Yeah. Because like what you were saying about it getting phased out, I guess it's quite 2024 to not have a ladies' tee, but just have 3 or 4 colours of increasing length, and then people can just play off what they want, what they're comfortable with, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, so typically you have 3 to 4, let's say, coloured tees. So Brampton, we have red, blue, yellow, and white.
Yeah.
So back in the day, red would typically be a ladies' tee, and that's the shortest version of the course. And then you've got blue, which is slightly different. Probably if you're a beginner, you could play off blue. Yellow is like your typical average golfer, and then you have white or black, which would be members' tee or competition tee.
Yeah.
So, on a Saturday, I'll play off the whites, which is the hardest version of the course every week. But yeah, I think in the pros, I mean, they probably don't have. I imagine when they play a course, it's, I don't think they play off a ladies' tee. They'll play off the competition tee.
Yeah.
I think,
they call
it's
them
probably
the tips in the US, don't they?
The what?
The tips.
Yeah.
They play off the tips. It's the furthest one back.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's time to sort of, I guess, in some instances, a ladies golfer will have enough sense to play off the front ones because they know that that's what's going to be best for them. But maybe the term ladies' tee doesn't need to necessarily be around anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got, because it's actually got a good link to our next point. I've got a few facts from some of the Solheim players. So Rosie Zhang, she played for 1-4 for the USA team. She went to Stanford University, the same as Tiger Woods. Megan Kang played 3-1-3. She's best friends with Catherine Newton, who was in Paranormal Activity 4. So friends in Hollywood. And Céline Boutier, who's French, bonjour, who obviously played for Europe. She has a psychology degree and a minor in economics, but she also has a twin sister, much like Rasmus Højgaard, who has a twin brother who won the Irish Open, Pippin Rory, AB.
Ollie, mate, that is a very good link from one event to the other, covering all your golf stories on the No If Putts and Bogies podcast. O-Dub is here, linking them together. So because there's a clash in terms of the Solheim Cup was arguably a bigger event than the Irish Open. So Sky rightly favoured the coverage of the Solheim Cup over the Irish Open. I think there was a lot of coverage on Thursday and Friday on Sky, which unfortunately due to work I couldn't watch. And then on Sunday, when I had a free afternoon and I wanted to tune in and plan to watch Rory win, I couldn't because it wasn't on Sky. So haven't seen any of it. But the synopsis of the event was that the Irish Open was in Northern Ireland for the first time in a while, because it's usually in the Republic of Ireland. So our boy Rory was on home soil, like physically home soil, because he is obviously from Northern Ireland. And it's the second or third time that he's played an event in Northern Ireland, and the previous two. So there was an Irish Open, I think 2015, which I imagine may have been the last time, because it must have been the last time it was in Northern Ireland. So 9 years ago, he missed the cut. And famously, the most famous one, the last Open Championship that was held outside Great Britain was outside mainland Britain, let's say, was at Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland, which was his home course, literally in the town where he grew up, and he missed the cut there as well. So first and foremost, it was nice to see that he made the cut, and for the first couple of days he was kind of thereabouts, but a few shots off. And on Saturday he managed to pull it back whilst others fell away, and he went into Sunday for, I think, the third or fourth time this year leading into the back nine on a Sunday, and then he bogeyed, and then he bogeyed again. But he did have pars. He did have a couple of birdies. I think I don't know what it was. He definitely bogeyed 17, which basically handed it to Højgaard. I think he had one just before that. But then he birdied 18 and he birdied 16, I think. So he's ended up losing by a stroke. Højgaard's played a blinder. He finished birdie. He shot 6 under for his round. Deserves to win. But it was another one where a couple of bogeys late on in Rory's round on a Sunday cost him what would have been an Irish Open win in his home country. So,
so just on those last 4 holes. So he bogeyed 15, birdied 16, bogeyed 17, birdied 18. I just want to give you a bit of breakdown on that, because there's a little bit more than it to meets the eye. So 17, he actually had a putt for the par that wasn't that long. I'm going to say somewhere between 6 and 8 foot, I'm pretty sure. And it was very close to going in, I think, if I've seen the right clip. And he didn't get it. So he knocked it back like a foot or 2 foot back to get the 5. On 18, it's actually a par 5. And he hit a ridiculous second shot to give himself, I want to say, about a 10-foot putt at eagle. So he actually had a putt to take it to a playoff, which another day, if he didn't bogey 17, he would have had 2 putts to take it to a playoff. But he had one. and it pretty much hit the outs, pretty much rimmed the hole. It was a very good effort, and he had sort of hands on his knees, couldn't sort of believe it didn't go in by the end of it. But eventually, one of these will fall his way. He asked, he kind of made a few jokes about it afterwards, saying he's getting used to the near misses, and I hope he's not getting too used to it, because I've still got big ambitions for the lad to win more majors, and I hope he does that. But
yeah, well, he's got the final few DP World events, one next weekend, which we'll come on to, but then there's the Middle Eastern events. I think he's still first. I'm just checking it now whilst we're talking, but I think he's still leading the race to Dubai again. So, and
so old Rasmus shot 6 under on the last day. Fair play. Also, shout out to friend of the pod, Dan Brown, who had a very famous Open this year and was leading the Open at one point. He shot -5 on the last day to get himself into the top 4, which I thought fair fucks, because I thought his Open might have been a bit of a one-off. Haven't really seen or heard much of him since, but good to see his name back up there.
Yeah. I'm just looking now. Rory's 1,500 points at the top of the race to Dubai. So, and he's won this 3 times. So if he gets a 4th, he'll still be, the best player in Europe by a country mile. So it's just one of those things. He's just got the yips this year for some reason, and he's still won. He's won a couple of PGA events, obviously with Shane, and then there was that one where he completely dispatched Schauffele before Schauffele went on his run of majors. But so he's still had a couple of wins. It's just the big events that he would have liked to have won. He's just got the yips on the back 9, and it's not even like the back 9. It's literally like 15, 16, 17, or 18. It's literally like the closing holes. So yeah, he's got to figure that out.
Yeah, we shall see. I can see him winning a major in 2025, AB. Where's the Open being held?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, to be honest.
Is it not Portrush?
It might be. Actually, you could be right, yeah. You could be right.
Just quickly, before we start diving around to the next subjects, just want to quickly talk about AB's favourite subject, which is live golf. So, season concluded on the weekend. Although there's some sort of weird team championship thing this weekend. Not really sure how that works. So don't shoot the messenger here. But some important things to pick up on. So individually, and this is a bit of a turn up for the books, because not too long ago on socials, the narrative was very different. But John Rahm actually won the overall season, which I guess is his inaugural season in Live. And he's the best individual player. So yesterday he scooped $22 million. So it's 18 million for winning the championship, 4 million for winning yesterday, because he actually won the event yesterday as well. So that's not bad. He also got a really cool Live, obviously do the rings, like the Super Bowl rings. But the ring is actually like you can pick it apart a little bit. So there's a ball marker in the ring, so you can unscrew the top bit, and the L bit is like a gold-plated ball marker. And then I think it was on the undercover of the ball marker. So if you flipped it up, there's a QR code, and if you scan the QR code, it goes to his. It will automatically play you a video on your phone of his winning putt on 18, which again, completely bit random, bit weird, but I quite like the idea of it. I thought it was nice.
See, this is another thing. It's like I was saying about trying to be something that it's not. Why do they need a championship ring?
It's just fucking social media these days. It's to make an Instagram reel and do the numbers on it. But anyways, some other respectable shout outs. Joaquin Neiman pushed John Rahm all the way in the individual perspective. He finished second, had a really good season. Another person who I think the general narrative is that hasn't really done that well since he's been there, actually came third, and that's Sergio Garcia. Has had a bit of a comeback sort of this year, won a couple of events and been in the top 5 in a few, and came third overall in the individual standings. So he scooped about 4 million bonus for coming third. I think the other guy got 8 million. Neiman got 8 million. In the teams, the Crushers won. by 8 points. So that's Bryson's team. Second year on the bounce that they've won. So yeah, it's I think both the full years that Bryson's been in it, his team's won. Legion, which is John Rahm's team, somehow came second, which is a little bit weird because Rahm won and Tyrrell come fourth. So that's like half the team in the top 5 individually, and they still not managed to win. So fuck knows what the rest of the other guys are doing, but they obviously didn't pull their weight. I think Bryson came 8th individually and was the top crusher, and they still managed to win the team event. So not quite sure how it all works, but yeah, some weird team championship in Dallas this weekend. Don't really know how that works, but I'll keep an eye on it and let you know if there's any changes and updates. But I just thought it's important to touch on that because, as I say, there's the other important thing is as well, and again, not quite sure how this works, but in the individual standings, they've obviously got the I like the relegation zone or whatever they call it, open zone, the ones that have stayed. So in the drop zone, it's what they're calling it. Bubba Watson is actually in the drop zone. He come 53rd out of 57 golfers and looks like he's played in like every event this year. So
I don't think he can get relegated because
he can't. No, but he is. It was more just the fact that there's 2 golfers there's 3 golfers that are on 0 points. One of them's a reserve, whoever B Campbell is. The other one's Anthony Kim. We don't really give a fuck about him. Then there's some guy called Swafford who got 0 points. Then some guy called Kay Vincent who got 2.75 points. And then Bubba Watson who got 3.6. So other notable name that's in the drop zone is Brandon Grace, who plays for, I'm going to say the Cleeks, is it? Which is, no, he plays for the S ones, whatever they're called. The South African ones. But yeah, just some interesting ones there. Interesting to see what happens, what they do next year with Kim, who was invited this year. Obviously, he didn't have a team. He's not really done anything. I wouldn't exactly say he's done wonders for them on socials either. I don't really know what the fucking point was, to be quite frank with you. But yeah, it's interesting to see if he's allowed to play again. And interested to see. I know some guys from the drop zone that were relegated last year still got picked up again anyway. So like Brandon Grace, who's basically mates with the rest of his team, I'd probably expect him to stay on. So yeah, keep eyes on all of that for you guys who like Liv, and we'll keep you updated.
Thanks for that. We could have a DB Live Corner section, couldn't we? We come to you for all our leads.
I don't mind. I get quite a lot of it on my socials because of the Bryson algorithm.
Yeah, same, yeah. Quickly before I make it all about me, and rattle for a quiz, can you just give us a quick rundown on the BMW DB?
Yeah, so this is actually at Wentworth. Don't know if anyone was aware, but I've actually played at Wentworth before, so got some first-hand experience of what the pros will be experiencing over the next week or so. I suppose the first thing to talk about is actually the Celebrity Pro-Am, which is the biggest Celebrity Pro-Am on this side of the pond. Some notable names to mention. Gareth Bale and Stuart Broad are playing with Rory McIlroy. James Anderson and Andy Murray are playing with... Oh, and Anton Dubek are playing with Rob McIntyre. There you got the Maloney brothers, which are from the Four Brothers.
Stokes is playing with Luke Donald.
Yeah, and there's Max Fosh is playing with Shane Lowry, which is he's a YouTuber with a lot of followers.
Yeah, Billy Horschel's got 3 influencers with him.
Peter Finch, Mac Boucher, and Olivia Cowan, 3 massive YouTubers. Dan Walker's playing with Michael McIntyre.
Comedian.
Next year, do you think me and DB will get the nod?
Oh, this is a good 4-ball. Alex Noren, Ben Foster, Kevin Peterson, and Troy Deeney.
Wow.
I mean, random as houses, but cracking 4-ball.
I thought Troy Deeney was cancelled. Or
Jamie George been paired up with Ollie Pope.
He's a good golfer, Jamie George.
I don't know if Ben Earl might be a rugby player, Odub, but he's
The
playing with
Ben
Jamie George as well.
Earl, yes, they both play for Saracens. I just know Jamie George is a really good golfer. Jamie George got knocked out by Billy Joe
James DeGale.
Saunders.
It's James DeGale.
Oh, okay.
But yes, he did.
Stick to golf, Ollie.
Yeah, sorry, mate. James DeGale is a boxer.
Yeah, let's move on. All right, let's.
Yeah,
that's
thanks for
enough.
that. Thanks for that, DB. Right.
Yeah,
quiz.
but
I'm
sure the course is looking great at the moment. It was spectacular when I played on it earlier on in the year.
It's also I've actually been there 4 times to watch this tournament because it's always around my birthday, and it's actually one of my favourite events to go to. I quite like going there for a day out, and gutted that unable to make it this weekend due to work event CC Bozza, but okay, ODub quiz.
Yeah, thanks for that, AB. Between me and AB, we've actually been to Wentworth 4 times, so there we are. Right, so I'm 6 questions. I think I'm gonna get you to answer first every time, DB, because you ain't gonna know any of them. And then AB can like trounce you with his knowledge. I think that's the format. Our listeners in 17 countries.
There's a lot of pressure on both of us now.
Okay.
Right, DB. Which golfer was the first to achieve a modern career Grand Slam, winning all 4 majors?
The first
ever.
Great question.
Jack Nicklaus?
No. Abe, you've like swung forward looking quite cocky and confident.
Oh, well, I actually don't know, but I guess. So I'm going to say I think it's Gene Sarazen.
You are correct. Love it. So the other week we did a quiz on golfers' nicknames, and I found one other that I liked. DB, can you tell me which golfer goes by the nickname The Mechanic? Not the film with Jason Statham. It's a golfer.
The Mechanic. Why would someone be called The Mechanic? Can you give me do you know the reason for the nickname?
I actually don't know the reason this time. I did the quiz in a rush.
Okay. let's just have a long little think about what the logic of it.
Not a long think because we want to keep it under an hour.
The mechanic fixes cars, so there must be someone with a surname similar to a car.
You are very cold.
Okay, no idea.
Guess you got just let's say a name.
Fucking Graham McDowell.
AB, mate. What is the answer?
I've not actually heard this one either, but I think it's going to be someone that loves his own or loves the technique of golf.
Okay.
Because the mechanic is usually someone, you're trying to work on your skills all the time. I'll guess at Stenson, but I think his actual nickname is the Iceman. But
okay.
He would be.
You're both incorrect. It's Miguel Angel Jimenez.
Oh.
Never have got that.
He smokes cigars and stuff, doesn't he, warming up? Is that right?
Yeah,
I know him. Yeah.
Actually bumped into him at Malaga Airport once and also bumped into him in the trees at Woburn. I helped him find his golf ball. That's
special moments between you two.
Yeah.
DB. The golf was added to the Olympic Games in 2016, as we've covered on a previous quiz, which Justin Rose won. But before that, when was golf's last appearance in the Olympic Games?
I'm going to go for... What? Fucking hell. I have to work my way back, because what would the Olympics year have been? Someone come back from like... So I
guess, mate. Just guess.
It's going to be like 1906. I don't know if that adds up or something.
Well, it was an Olympic year, mate.
I was trying to work out, but you rushed me.
Actually, to be fair, what is the answer, AB? Do you know?
Well, my guess is going to be 1904.
Yeah, that is correct. But I think
DB... I was rushed. I was rushed.
To be fair to you, DB.
If we gave DB an hour, he would have counted back in 4.
That was good. That was a good effort, DB. Fair play to you.
I was rushed.
It's just easier if you just know the answer, then you'd have to work it out.
This is quite a simple one, DB. Which golfer recorded the most points for the USA in the 2023 Ryder Cup?
Which golfer recorded the most points for the USA in the 2023 Ryder Cup?
Yes,
Well, they didn't get many.
they got some.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know the answer.
I know you know.
Well, I suppose the answer probably should be Scotty Scheffler, but I'm going to say Max Homa.
Yeah, it was Max Homa.
Very good.
I actually probably would have got that one.
For the
I did
record,
watch
that
a
was
lot of the
going to
Ryder
be
Cup.
my answer.
Yeah, he got 3.5 points.
Kudos, DB. You're on the board, mate. Kudos.
DB. Tiger Woods won the Masters in 2019, which I believe was his last major. What was his world ranking at that point in time?
This is a pure guess. For some reason, the first number that came into my head was 137th.
No. AB.
It's a great question, Ollie. I don't know the answer. I think he was around about the 50s. So I'll just say 53 or something.
He was actually 12th in the world at that point.
Oh, wow.
Which I was actually surprised to hear.
Yeah,
He
fair enough.
obviously had a good year. DB. Golf is widely regarded to have began and originated in Scotland. But where does the word golf originate from? The word golf.
I feel like it's a Scandinavian country.
You're
No,
not a
it was,
million miles away?
No. Oh, hold on. You said it was not a million miles away with that?
No.
I'm going to say Holland.
DB, you are correct.
I knew that.
It's from the 14th century and trades with Scotland and the Netherlands. It comes from Kulf, K-U-L-F. That is where the word golf originates from.
We need a fact check here.
I believe that to be true.
Golf, the sport of golf, the GOLF, used to stand for something.
Gentlemen only, ladies.
It may well, because golf and golf are different words, but that is where.
Say that again, Davey, because that's what it was.
Well, I think it's a bit of an urban myth, but supposedly it used to stand
it's an
for
urban myth,
gentlemen only.
When's the internet ever lied? It's come from the Hollands, mate, and their trades with the.
What about it's not gay outdoor lifestyle with fellas?
That is
in between quite there.
Have a reason. You can research why Miguel Angel Jimenez is called the mechanic, and also.
Is there any more questions?
No, that's it. That's all 6, mate. But
so how many did I get? I got 2.
Yeah. No, you got 3 because I'm giving you the Olympic one as well. To be fair to you.
Yeah, because I was rushed. I would have got that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're being asked the questions first.
No, I got 3.
I don't get an option of getting it right.
He was in the correct Olympic cycle, and that's all we can hope for with DB, I think. So kudos to you, DB. And shout out to the Olympic Committee if they want to sponsor the pod.
Yeah. Right. Mr. What's his name? Lord Coe. You know where we are?
Yeah, he was a 400-meter runner, wasn't
he? Did you know Lord Sebastian Coe set a record on the 28th of August in the 80s, which made 80 boys read out at my wedding the other day. I can't remember what the stat was. He broke the world record. Kudos to Sebco. And that is the end of the pod, boys.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Well done, Doug.
Great speaking to you both.
Great pod, guys.
Really well done. Dub, your facts are absolutely astonishing, fella.
Well, AB's questioned it. Have a research tonight, mate.
No, I knew I was barking up the right tree with Holland.
You're fine, mate. I believe you. We trust you, the knowledge, and you'll be back next week with another quiz, won't you?
A really good quiz.
Good quiz.
And I may get cancelled.